Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of all ages, my name is David Popovich, aka the Bookworm, and welcome to Bookworm Reviews. Have you guys ever heard of The Secret of NIMH? It's an animated film from 1982, notable for being the directorial debut of Don Bluth. And if you don't know who he is, he's made some of the most beloved animated films of the 80s and 90s, like... and others we don't talk about. The 90s weren't nice to that man, but this film is easily one of, if not his best, for being a great film during a time when animation wasn't. If you ever watched The Nostalgia Critic, you know he absolutely loves this film. If you get the chance, go see it. It's on Hulu for free, so you don't really have an excuse not to. But this dog and pony show is about books. And what do you know? Secret of NIMH is based on a book. A Newbery book. What are the odds? Sit back and relax as we dive into the Newbery winner of 1972, Mrs. Frisby and the Rats of NIMH by Robert C. O'Brien.
He's a real nowhere man, sitting in his nowhere land, making all his nowhere plans for nobody.
The story focuses on Mrs. Frisby, a widowed mouse with 4 children. Her son Timothy has gotten ill with pneumonia just as the farmer is about to plow the garden where they live. She can't take him outside, for the weather is still too cold, it would kill him. Mrs. Frisby will risk her life as she journeys across the farmland to find a solution and finds one with the rats in the rose bush, where she will discover a marvelous secret that can save her family. Mrs. Frisby and the Rats of NIMH is an interesting story. Actually, it's 2 completely different stories that are loosely connected. The book first focuses on Mrs. Frisby and her journey to find a way to save her son, seeing how far she would go to find a solution to a problem that becomes more hopeless with each passing day, which showcases one of the best parts of the book, Mrs. Frisby. She is one of the most thoughtful, caring, and bravest characters you will ever read. And I don't mean brave as she isn't afraid of anything. Oh no, the book makes it clear she is scared throughout most of her journey. And you can't blame her considering what she has to deal with. But she knows if she doesn't, she will lose her son, showing how much she will risk her life to save the lives of others. The very definition of brave. And honestly, the book could have just been about that. A mother trying to save her son. That's a great story by itself. But then, we are introduced to the rats, which all of a sudden leads us to the second story of the book, learning the history about the rats. You see, these aren't your normal run-of-the-mill rats, but super intelligent rats that have learned to tap into the farmer's electrical grid to have power and heat, have mechanical technology like elevators, and the ability to read. When Mrs. Frisby comes to them for help, thanks to a connection she wasn't aware of, we are also given their history of how they have become intelligent, making most of the middle devoted to this story with a completely different set of themes. The themes of the rats is basically with great power comes great responsibility, how they were experimented on from the National Institute of Mental Health, aka NIMH, to become intelligent. Which, fun fact, NIMH is a real place, and the book was inspired by an actual experiment done in the 1960s by Dr. John B. Calhoun on mice and rat populations. The rats escape from NIMH, which leads them to the big question of what do they do with their intelligence? Leading to the big question of what kind of civilization will they become? Will they stay as they are, stealing from humans as their ancestors did? Or will they begin a new race, making it on their own? Honestly, these are some deep questions that it kind of undercuts Mrs. Frisby's storyline. That's the biggest flaw with the book. The storylines really don't fit with one another and only connect in the loosest of terms. Just look at the title, Mrs. Frisby and the Rats of NIMH. Right there, it shows you how disconnected the 2 stories are. These stories would have worked perfectly by themselves, but the book does find a way to make everything work out, cause both stories are strong with their themes and characters. But there is one thing that this book has that really makes it stand out. The ending. Now, I could make a long list about all the changes made from the book to the movie, from Frisby being changed to Brisby so they wouldn't get sued from Whammo for the word Frisby. I'm not kidding. To the changing of Nicodemus' character to an elder, to the fact that Jenner is still with the rats in the rosebush, and of course, all the magic that is nowhere to be seen in the book. Keep in mind, I'm not saying the movie is bad for these changes. Honestly, this is one of the best forms of adaptation, where they change a lot, but still keep the themes of the story the same. But what makes the book interesting from the movie is it has an ambiguous ending. Let me ask you, can you name me a children's book that leaves you on an ambiguous ending that wasn't planned to get answered in later books? I'm not sure what you guys might have read, but for me, I've never come across this before. And it's a very interesting thing to leave with a child. Most of the time we are used to everything being resolved. Beginning, middle, end, done. But here, it makes you think what could have happened long after you read it. It's very haunting actually the more you think about it. Granted, there are 2 other sequels, but O'Brien's wife wrote those after he died, so it doesn't really count. All in all, the book is a great read, filled with great characters, story, themes, and an ending that will stick with you long after you put it down. I can't really say if the movie or the book is better. They are both amazing because they appreciate the spirit of the story. It's not hard to see why this one won the Newbery. I say you should check out both when you get the chance. Trust me, you won't forget them anytime soon. What about you, Internet? What's your opinion about Mrs. Frisby and the Rats of NIMH? Next week, we will end Newbery Month with one of the most recent winners. Till next time, have a nice day.